Hello everyone, it's Annie and I'm here today with my most anticipated releases of October, November, and December 2023. So this is one of my favorite videos to film and I am so excited because we have some really great books that are coming out in the last quarter of this year. I can't believe this year is starting to wind down. It's almost fall and I'm not ready, but I am ready for these books. So let's get started. All right, so the first book on my list is Menawood or Meanwood. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it is by Nicola Griffith. And it's the sequel to Hild, which is a behemoth of a book that came out like a long time ago, like in 2013. So this has been a long time coming. So this is a much anticipated sequel to Hild, which transports readers back to 7th century Britain, a land of rival kings and religions poised for epochal change. So Hild is no longer the bright child who made a place in Edwin Overking's court with her seemingly supernatural insight. She's now 18 in this story, honed and tested, the formidable Lady of Elmet, now building her personal stronghold in the valley of, again, Menawood. But Edwin needs his most trusted advisor. Old alliances are fraying, younger rivals are snapping at his heels, and war is brewing. Not knowing who to trust, he becomes volatile and unpredictable. Hild begins to understand the true extent of the chaos ahead, and now she must navigate the turbulence and fight to protect both the kingdom and her people. She will face losses and devastation of war, and then she must find a new strength, the determination to forge a radically different path for herself and her people. In the valley, her last redoubt, her community slowly takes root. She trains herself and her unexpected allies in new ways of thinking as she prepares for one last wager, risking all on a single throw for a better future. So, Hild was amazing. I will say I was probably too young when I read it because it was very dense, but this just looks awesome, and Hild is a sapphic historical fiction book, which is not something we see, especially during medieval times, very often. So I'm here for this. And that book is coming out October 3rd, as well as the Gin Bot of Shanty Port, which I also have a physical ARC of. Thank you for the publishers for sending this to me. I think I won it in a Goodreads giveaway. So yes, they are possible to win. So this is by Samit Basu, and this is a sci-fi, adult sci-fi. The cover just looks so sick. So Shantyport was supposed to be a gateway to the stars, but the city is sinking and its colonist rulers aren't helping anyone but themselves. Lena, the daughter of a failed revolutionary, has no desire to escape Shantyport. She loves her city and would do anything to save its people. Her brother, Baydor, is a small monkey bot with a big attitude and bigger ambitions. He wants a chance to leave this dead-end planet and explore the universe, but that would mean abandoning his family. When Shantyport's resident tech billionaire coerces Lena into retrieving a powerful artifact rumored to be able to reshape reality, okay, forces from before their time begin coalescing around the siblings. And when you throw in a piece of sentient off-world tech with the ability to grant 3 wishes into the mix, none of the city's powers will know what hit them. So this sounds like unlike anything I've ever read before, so that's a great sign. We love that in a new sci-fi. Next is another sequel to one of the best books ever. It is Moon of the Turning Leaves by Waukesha Rice. This is the sequel to Moon of the Crusted Snow, and I loved it so much. So Moon of the Crusted Snow is a dystopian novel set on a reservation in Canada, and basically all the power goes out and people don't know what to do, and they have to basically deal with the world turning into a dystopian world. So this is post-apocalyptic fiction. So this is set 12 years after the lights go out, so 12 years after the first book. And it's been over a decade since the permanent blackout, Evan Whitesky led his community in remote northern Ontario off the res and into the bush, where they've been living off the land, rekindling their Anishinaabe traditions in isolation from the outside world. As new generations are born and others come of age, Evan's people are in some ways stronger than ever, but resources are beginning to dry up, and the elders warn that they cannot stay indefinitely. Evan and his 15-year-old daughter are elected to lead a small scouting party on a months-long trip to their traditional home on the north shore of Lake Huron to seek new beginnings and discover what kind of life and dangers still exist. Very interesting. I love this. This has been so highly anticipated by a lot of people, I know. So I absolutely can't wait for this. If you haven't read Moon of the Crusted Snow yet, you really have to. It's a really, really short book. It is so good. It's really, really good. Okay, so then on October 10th, we have Shoot the Moon by Issa Arson, an evocative debut novel about one ambitious NASA secretary's relentless drive to live and love big, life in a world that would keep her small. Okay, so intelligent but isolated physics graduate Annie Fisk feels an undeniable pull towards space. Her childhood memories dimmed by loss, she has left behind her home, family, and her first love in pursuit of intellectual fulfillment. When she finally lands a job as a NASA secretary during the Apollo 11 mission, the work is everything she dreamed, and while she feels a budding attraction to one of the engineers, she can't get distracted. When her inability to ignore mistaken calculations propel her into a new position, Annie finds herself torn between her ambition, her heart, and a mysterious discovery that upends everything she knows to be scientifically true. Can she overcome her doubts and reach beyond the limits of time and space? This is a sapphic book, so I am so here for it. It's historical fiction, and I have been so highly anticipating this book. I followed Issa on Twitter for a very long time, and I just cannot wait to finally read her debut book. Okay, and then on October 17th, a name that we have seen many times before is Erica Waters, back with another YA sapphic horror, All That Consumes Us. So this is a gothic dark academia horror, which is something we haven't seen from her. So everyone knows the students in Corbin College's elite academic society, Magni Viri, have it all. Free tuition, great professors, and dream jobs. So when Tara is offered a chance to enroll, she takes it. But once she's settled into the Victorian dorm the academy calls home, something strange starts to happen. She finally has the chance to write, but her stories are dark and twisted. She's dreaming about being trapped in a coffin buried alive, and she's starting to feel a presence stalking her. As she slowly loses her grip on everything she knows, she discovers a terrible secret, one that might turn her dreams into nightmares and one that might destroy her before she has the chance to escape. So, sounds pretty good. I have an arc of this from NetGalley, so I did love Erica Waters' I think her first book, which was The River Has Teeth. I don't know if that was her first book or the sophomore book, but it was really, really good. I have not read anything else by her, but if it's sapphic, I'm gonna be there. Okay, and then we have a sci-fi, These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs, which has been compared to, once again, A Memory Called Empire, okay? So it follows June Ironway, who is a hacker, con artist, and occasional thief, who has gotten her hands on a piece of contraband that could set her up for life. A video that implicates the powerful Nightfoot family in a planet-wide genocide 75 years ago. The Nightfoots control the precious Sevite that fuels interplanetary travel through 3 star systems, and someone is sure to pay handsomely for anything that could break their hold. Of course, anything valuable is also dangerous. The kingdom, the ruling power of the 3 star systems, is inextricably linked to the Nightfoot's monopoly, and they can't afford to let June expose the truth. They task 2 of their most brutal clerics with hunting her down, Chono and Essek, who also happens to be the heir to the Empire. Alright, so that's all I'm gonna say. This is sapphic. It is a sci-fi space opera. So sapphic sci-fi space operas are my bread and butter. Apparently this is the first in a trilogy, which I actually didn't know, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah. If you liked A Memory Called Empire or The Traitor Brew Cormorant or Nine Fox Gambit, I loved all three of those. They're some of my favorite books of all time. And look at this representation. We have a lesbian MC, black lesbian amputee love interest, non-binary MC. Hello, we love non-binary lesbians, and gender fluid side character. Hell yeah, okay. I am super, super highly anticipating this one. Okay, and then switching gears a little bit, this is a nonfiction. It's called Lay Them to Rest: On the Road with the Cold Case Investigators Who Identify the Nameless. So I'm not gonna read this whole thing. It comes out on October 17th, but you all know my penchant for spooky nonfiction books, and actually I am planning a video about that subgenre of nonfiction books in time for the spooky season, so look forward to that. But this is something that I think any person who is interested in true crime should read. It also sounds pretty interesting to one of my favorite nonfiction books, Unnatural Causes, which is written by a forensic pathologist about something similar. So I'm really interested in this book. I really, again, love spooky nonfiction. So this is definitely one for me. And then another October 17th, this is a middle grade. I haven't been reading a lot of middle grades lately, but this is the third and final book in Yoon-Ha Lee's middle grade trilogy called Fox Snare. And this is the Korean queer sci-fi middle grade by Yoon-Ha Lee, and it follows Min the Fox Spirit and her ghost brother Jun. Okay, they get stranded on the Death Planet with Hanil the Dragon Spirit and Sebin the Tiger Spirit. To survive, they have to rely on all their wits, training, and supernatural abilities, and the Dragon Pearl. So I loved the first book of this trilogy, which is The Dragon Pearl. I hated Tiger Honor. I really highly disliked Tiger Honor. So I'm hoping that Fox Snare kind of brings it back to me. I really hope that it redeems itself with Fox Snare. And because Min is in this book and she's the main character now, again, I really hope that I like this book a lot better. All right, and then of course, we have Bright Falls number 3, Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. So this follows Iris and all of her best friends. Of course, the other characters in the rest of the Bright Falls companion novels are all happily coupled, but Iris is not. She does not date. She refuses to, okay? However, she is a romance author facing an imminent deadline for her second book, and she's completely out of ideas. So we'll see where that leads. So she's perfectly happy to ignore her problems, and she goes to a bar and meets a very sexy stranger, which turns into one of the worst one-night stands that she's ever had. And then, of course, she runs into that stranger again when she is participating in a community play. That's very gay. And they start a fake dating relationship that, of course, is going to turn into a real relationship. So this sounds awesome. It's got all the tropes. We know that I love Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I liked the second one about Astrid a little less. But I really like Iris's character, so I'm thinking I'm gonna like this one a little bit better, and I'm definitely going to read it as soon as possible. All right, so taking a little bit of a turn from romance, we're going into horror. This, of course, is coming out on Halloween. Very fitting. This is An Ordinary Violence. Dawn hasn't spoken to her brother since he was sent to prison for a violent crime. Now living in a new Toronto condo, she is haunted by uncanny occurrences, including cryptic messages from her dead mother. When the life Dawn thought she wanted implodes, she is forced to return to her childhood home and the prairie city that holds so much pain for her and her family. Cody, her brother, is unexpectedly released from prison with a mysterious new friend, who seems to be the charismatic leader of a dangerous supernatural network. Trying to uncover their plans, Dawn follows increasingly sinister leads until the lines between this world and the next, now and then, and right and wrong begin to blur. So this is an indigenous horror novel, which, if you've been following me for a while, you know I love. Indigenous authors just know how to write horror. I'm I love it. I love this cover. I am very, very excited about this. It seems like it's a really good mix of social and paranormal, supernatural horror. So I'm really excited for this. And then, of course, another sequel or prequel is Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, which we all loved. Okay, we all know it and love it. It's a cozy fantasy about an orc and I think a succubus or something. And they fall in love and they run a coffee shop, and it's adorable. This is the prequel to that. Okay, so Viv, who is the orc, and her notorious job with the mercenary company, the Ravens, isn't going as planned. She's wounded during a hunt, and she decides to spend hours at a bookshop, okay? And I believe she like takes over the bookshop. I don't know. You know what? I didn't really read the synopsis because I know I'm gonna love it. It's got a muscly orc lesbian and it's another cozy fantasy. I know I'm gonna love this, and pretty much everyone else is going to as well. All right, we're coming to the end here. That was released on November 7th. This one as well is released on November 7th. It is Say in Bed, Different Dreams by Ed Park. This is probably one of the books that I am most highly anticipating. First of all, the cover is sick. It's really, really cool. All right. So this is a novel that imagines an alternate secret history of Korea and the traces it leaves on the present. All right. So in 1919, far-flung Korean patriots established the Korean Provisional Government to protest the Japanese occupation, which, if you have been subscribed to me for a while, you know is something I'm incredibly fascinated with. It was the topic of my thesis paper in university, and any book that has that as a backdrop is something I'm immediately interested in. Okay, the government in exile proves mostly symbolic though, and after Japan's defeat in World War II, this government dissolves and civil war erupts, resulting in the North-South split that remains today. Yeah, so that's basically like a really short Reader's Digest of the actual history. But what if that provisional government still existed now today, working toward a unified Korea, secretly harnessing the might of a giant tech company to further its aims? That's the outrageous premise of this book. All right, yeah, this is really cool. All right, it twists Korean history, American pop culture, and our tech-fraught lives into an extraordinary and unforgettable novel. Yeah, that sounds amazing. All right, I am really, really interested in this. Yeah, I think this is the book that I'm most highly anticipating out of any of these, which is interesting because I don't think it's queer, but it's so speculative and just, it has everything, like all these elements that I don't ever hardly see in books that I'm really itching for. And I can't wait for it. I just can't wait. It sounds so fascinating. All right, and last book comes out December 5th. It is Yours for the Taking by Gabrielle Korn, and this is a sapphic sci-fi. Okay, we're ending with a sapphic sci-fi. It's dystopian as well. The cover is so pretty. It's 2050. Ava and her girlfriend live in what's left of Brooklyn, and though they love each other, it's hard to find happiness while the effects of climate change rapidly eclipse their world. Soon it won't be safe outside at all, and the Inside Project, a series of weather-safe city-sized structures around the world, houses the only people who are safe. Jacqueline is a reclusive billionaire / women's rights advocate, and thanks to a generous donation, she's just become the director of the Inside. Her ideas are unorthodox. She's built a whole brand around rethinking the very concept of empowerment. Shelby, a business major from a working-class family, is drawn to Jacqueline's promises of power. When she lands her dream job as her personal assistant, she's instantly swept up into the world of corporatized feminism. Also drawn into Jacqueline's orbit is Olympia, who's finishing up medical school when Jacqueline recruits her to run the health department Inside. The more Olympia learns about the project, though, the more she realizes there's something much larger at play. As Ava, Olympia, and Shelby start to notice the cracks in Jacqueline's system, she tightens her grip, becoming increasingly unhinged and dangerous in what she's willing to sacrifice to keep her dream alive. It is a mesmerizing story of queer love, betrayal, and chosen family. This sounds so cool and so unique. I need this. I really need this book. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this. This new kind of dystopian angle that I've been seeing in a lot of these books. I just realized a lot of these are very dystopian, and I'm here for it. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad that you stuck with me. Let me know down below if I missed any exciting books coming out. What are your most anticipated releases for the last few months of 2023? I'd love to know and get more recommendations. So if you like this book, please like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!